Rocketed right at third, but how about that? Ella McDowell barely had to move the glove, and a big grin on her face saying, well, always got to be ready.
McDowell showing why it's important to keep your glove low to start. This line drive is just shot right into her glove, right as it hits the ground. That is a great play and shows this Razorback defense is tough as nails.
First pitch popped up off the bat of Blum, and running over to get it, Davison. 2 quick outs here in the top of the first.
And for the Wildcats, they are attacking early in the count, but for Robin Heron, you'll take 3 pitches, 2 outs to set the tone.
Brings up Madison Clark. Working away from the right-handed hitter. Just missed the upper outside corner. 9th start of the season for Madison Clark. In this roster for Kentucky, they've got a lot of depth, and so things still getting sorted out with the lineup, but as you're figuring out, who you are and your identity, it doesn't mean that you have to have the same lineup every day, and they found success by shifting things around. Heron has success in the first inning. 1, 2, 3. We introduce you to the Hogs lineup when we come back. Knows she'll have her hands full today, but ready for the challenge. Reagan Johnson takes the ball. They're defending her straight up here. The outfield shifted a little bit towards where you would be for a slap hitter, but nothing crazy on the infield like we've seen at certain times this year. But for Reagan Johnson, in all the ways that teams have tried to defend her, she's still able to produce big-time numbers.
And the most recent team that we saw shift Reagan Johnson was Oklahoma. They brought in their right fielder, which then placed 5 infielders on the infield.
Pulls the bat back, but takes a strike, 3-1. Good pitch. Johnson not wanting to go after it, and now the count full.
And it's the off-speed pitch that Henniges throws. It has so much spin through the heart of the zone.
Johnson able to battle off the first payoff. That's what you were talking about right there, Sydney.
And this was against Oklahoma in the 3-game series. Every at-bat that Reagan Johnson had, this is how Oklahoma played her defensively, and it's because on her spray chart, she does not drive a lot of balls to the center right side part of the field.
Payoff pitch, knocked past third. Johnson aboard to start. Taken off as the throw came in wildly. Reagan all the way to third base.
And that'll get the crowd pumped up for Reagan Johnson. She is the table setter of this Razorback offense. And that just shows right there the speed that she has, even on a defensive miscue by Kentucky. And this slap so perfectly placed by Allie Hutchins at third base. And it's the defensive miscue. It's something that Coach Lawson's talked about, this defense of the Wildcats, and Reagan Johnson taking full advantage of that defensive miscue.
Early break for the Razorbacks as Reagan Kramer takes a strike. .359 now, the average for Kramer, .552 on base percentage.
And Coach Courtney Deifel talked about moving her up into the 2 spot because of how productive she is at the plate and how often she gets on base. And that just allows 2 more base runners for Bree Ellis and Courtney Day to step up and drive in runs like they do so well.
Good job by Hamilton. Able to keep that one in front and keep Johnson at third, at least for the time being. This is a situation that Kramer's been really good in, bringing the runner from third home with less than 2 outs. A lot of ways to do that, and she's done it 75% of the time. Look at the fielding percentages. Arkansas amongst the top in the SEC, one of the better ones in the nation, in fact.
And Coach Lawson's talked about that this season with her team being younger and a little bit more inexperienced. It's shown more on defensive with the miscues that they've had. But they also have grown a lot throughout the season.
Career walk number 99 for Reagan Kramer.
99 walks in a career is almost unheard of. The capability that Reagan Kramer has to really hone in the strike zone and the ability that she has to take pitches that aren't far out of the strike zone is all due to the amount of walks that she has.
Now, the first inning's been problematic this year for Kentucky. They've allowed 31 runs, including the 4 last night. By far the most that they've given up in any inning.
And I'm interested to see how they're about to attack Bree Ellis. They went on the outer part of the plate, came back with an off speed. Feel as though those are going to be the 2 pitches utilized against Bree Ellis to work on that outer part of the strike zone to stay away from her.
Kept it low that time. She was not going to bite.
And you know, it's tricky, Josh, because you've got Reagan Johnson and a Reagan Kramer on with Bree Ellis up to bat. You want to work around the zone, but then you've got Courtney Day right behind her.
Just caught the upper edge. Ellis taken all the way. Three one. The upper outside corner. Courtney Deifel was complimentary of this pitcher, Sarah Hindigus, though, saying, you know, they've leveraged her in some high-pressure situations, and she's done well.
And the thing that makes Hindigus so effective is it's not going to necessarily be the speed, but is the spin that she has on the ball. As it enters into the strike zone, all of her pitches stay on the same plane, and it's the last-minute break.
Another payoff is hit well into right. Running up on it is Plotz. Johnson tagging, and the throw not in time. Kramer is going to take second. Bree Ellis, that's a productive out, sac fly, and her 50th RBI of the season.
And we are only halfway through the SEC play, and she is to that many RBIs. But with the speed of Reagan Johnson, doesn't even matter how shallow that ball is hit, she's gonna score from third.
Kentucky talking things over here. Reagan Johnson started the inning with a base hit. Reagan Kramer then walked. Ellis with the sac fly. I love the way that Arkansas is mixing up their senior days, spreading them out so you don't have it all at once. And today is Courtney Day's senior day honoree, honored before the game. It's pretty special and kind of cool that they're doing that, you know, spacing them out.
I think it is a very special thing when teams take the time to give recognition to their seniors individually throughout the course of the season. It just makes it that much more special. A little bit more of an intimate experience with your parents and your family members who have been throughout the course of your journey with you. And for Courtney Day, stepping in this year, she has been a huge staple to this team and this offense.
Upstairs for a ball, 1-1.
And one thing that just blows my mind, Josh, is between Bree Ellis and Courtney Day, they have combined going into this game for more. They've combined for 92 RBIs. That's more than 80 Division I programs.
It's insane. Day hitting .321. He's gone deep 11 times this year. Close pitch, called a strike. Day appears to be unfazed, although the crowd was ready to go to battle for her.
And that's a way to start off the bottom of the first inning, just adding more run support. Courtney Day steps up big with Reagan Kramer on second. She gets every piece of this pitch, driving it over the center field wall. And the effort by Sullivan, but it just gets past her to put more runs on the board for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Crowd all fired up. 4 runs in the first inning last night and 3 so far here today. Still just 1 out as Wyckoff fouls one off. The wind is really howling out towards left center field today, Sydney, and you know these outfield grounds as good as anybody.
Absolutely, and when the wind is blowing like this, it's first of all understanding the direction that the wind is blowing, but it's all about having good communication between your other defenders. When the ball is put in the air, it's not necessarily going to end up where it starts. And for both of these offenses and having pieces in the lineup that have the capability of mishitting a ball and still hitting a home run, it even leaves more room.
Able to make the adjustment, Delaney Sullivan there. That's a good recovery by Hendigas after giving up the home run. A good response. Getting Wyckoff. First step's always back as an outfielder, right? Is it 2 steps back today?
2 steps back today. No, Sullivan did a great job on that ball. She actually started cutting over to her right side, and with the head turn, ended up catching that on her glove side. It was a really great defensive play between the wind and how hard that ball was squared up by Wyckoff.
Just caught the lower edge for a strike. Strike 2, good pitch in, keeping it low in the zone.
And for Hendigas, one thing that we've been seeing so far through the bottom of this first inning with her pitch sequence is she's working on the outer part of the plate to start off the count, and as she gets ahead, she's coming back in with that low inside drop ball.
Nearly got away from her. Nobody on base, no harm done, but Hamilton still taking pride in her job, going up to get it. Count is full. 3 batters have worked a full count for the Razorbacks in this first inning. Close pitch. McDowell calmly takes it though for a walk. Second walk of the inning.
That is a very close pitch, and as a pitcher, you're sitting there thinking, oh, should that have gone my way? And as a hitter, that's a tough pitch to lay off on a full count.
There's the Razorback shortstop, Italia Rio. She, along with Wyckoff, with big swings in last night's first inning. Popped back, a little flare that's off the glove of Reesner. McDowell gets to third. Count even at 1. Razorbacks as a team, they entered the day hitting .332, but that average goes up with the bases loaded. .345 overall. Off her foot. Miller feeling the sting of that one. Umpires are going to talk this over.
And with the way that that ball went into the infield, I am almost certain that that hit off of Kennedy Miller's foot with the spin that it had.
Whatever the explanation was, it was just given to Courtney Deifel. Arkansas base runners are staying put for right now.
Arkansas is challenging the call of out at home plate on the batter. This play is under review.
And just from that look right there, great shot by our team as she goes down on top of this pitch. It looks almost evident that it's coming off the top of her shoelaces.
Well, the game has come a long way. We see
After further review, the call on the field has been changed to a foul ball. The batter returns with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. This is the first challenge for Arkansas.
there you go.
And you know, to your point, Josh, the game has evolved so much with the capability of being able to challenge plays during the game. We've already seen throughout the course of the season, not just with Arkansas, but teams across the NCAA, where really being the ability to be able to challenge has been a game changer.
Grounded to the right side. On it is Clark. Fires over and the side retired. Arkansas brings all 9 to the plate, including the Senior Day honoree.
And for Courtney Day, she's already having a day. This ball is hung over the heart of the plate, and she gets things started for this Arkansas offense.
Well, the head coach, Rachel Lawson, she has really transformed this Kentucky program into something special. 18th year at the helm. And it's turned into NCAA tournament after NCAA tournament. Not only that, 8 super regional appearances and a Women's College World Series.
And for Coach Lawson, she is such a fierce leader for the Kentucky Wildcats, always has been. And the thing that is so impressive to me is this marks the 14th straight year that Coach Lawson, Himes, and Belcher will all be a part of the full-time coaching staff. It is the longest that a coaching staff has been in place within UK athletics, which says a lot because Kentucky athletics as a whole is pretty stiff.
Well said. And they, you know, when you look at the body of work that they've accomplished, I would think that's something really special for a recruit too, right? To be able to say, hey, look how long our coaching staff has been together. You kind of get a sense of security, right, if you're being recruited?
Absolutely, and it just shows the consistency, and the culture is the biggest thing. And one thing that just through a little over an inning of play that I've seen that's been different from yesterday to today with this Kentucky offense is they are attacking earlier in the count. They are not getting as deep into the counts.
Watts not able to hold up her bat. Home plate umpire Aaron Golden made the call, said, yep, she broke the plane.
And for Robin Heron, this is her off-speed pitch. Doesn't even have to throw it through the zone. Plotz gets called out, striking out, swinging, and her barrel does cross the plane of the plate.
First strikeout for Heron. Brings up Lauren Borzolari.
And talking about that last off-speed pitch from Robin Heron, Coach Courtney Doffel made such a great point. That is one of her best pitches in her arsenal, but Coach Courtney Doffel talked about getting Robin to the point of understanding that the changeup doesn't have to be through the strike zone. It can be thrown as a ball to still be effective.
That's not only one of the best coaching minds there is, but that's also the former catcher in her, right? Instilling the confidence in the pitcher, letting her know, hey, we're all right.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things that you don't have to be perfect to still produce outs and to still produce strikeouts. And with the movement that Robin Herron's off-speed pitch has, it doesn't necessarily have to be thrown for a strike.
Softly lined into right field for a base hit. Good piece of hitting there for Borzilleri. 10th-year leader Courtney Deifel. This place has become a mainstay for hosting regionals now. Two-time SEC Coach of the Year. The most wins in Arkansas history. Her 10th year, assistant coach Matt Michaels' 9th year, so you've got some good tenure there as well.
And what Coach Courtney Deifel has created here in Fayetteville is so impressive from the culture standpoint to the amount of wins, postseason runs. But one thing that is pretty incredible to see is before the games, people are lined up to get into the stadium. And it was not always like that before Coach Courtney Deifel, and even at the beginning of her coaching career. It's been amazing to see what she's established right here in Fayetteville at Bogle Park.
That's one of the great atmospheres in college softball. Not able to turn two, close. Cut down the lead runner though for out number 2.
And for Reasoner, she gets inside of this pitch, and for Ella McDowell, such a quick transfer over to second, and for Davison pushing off that back leg. But the speed by Reasoner down the first baseline, they're not able to secure that double play.
Hallie Mitchell in the DP spot today, one of 2 left-handed bats in the lineup. In spots 7 and 9, Delaney Sullivan is the other. We're going to come out and talk with Robin Herron here. After the first 2 pitches missing to Hallie Mitchell.
In the conversation, what I can expect from Coach Courtney Deifel right here in this situation is get back to pounding the strike zone, getting ahead early in the count. You know, what are you feeling? What's working? Let's talk through it really quickly, and then let's get back to action.
Herron from Tampa, Florida. Hogs knew they got a good one when they got her. She has been so stingy this year. 3.2 hits per 7 innings. That's among the elite in the country. Grounded through the right side. Reisner will stop at second. Hallie Mitchell. Like the aggressive approach there, even though you're ahead 2-0 and seemed like Arkansas was trying to hit the reset button. Mitchell still in that mindset of, if I see something I like, I'm going to go get it.
Oh, most times than not, 2-0 is a hitter's count that you want to be attacking in, knowing that the pitcher is going to bring something through the center of the zone. And for Hallie Mitchell, that was a great base hit single through the 3-4 hole.
First pitch strike in the upper half to Carissa Hamilton. Went 0 for 1 with a walk last night. Grounded back through. Rounding third. Here comes the throw. Not in time. Reisner scores. And a 2-out rally here for the Wildcats. Carissa Hamilton.
And for Reisner, she had her wheels on all day from second. And for Hamilton, she just drives it right back where it came from, back up the middle to drive in a run for the Kentucky Wildcats. And this is what this offense does best, is they do have the ability to hit the long ball, but they really focus in and hone in on base hit to base hit and manufacturing runs.
12th RBI of the year for Hamilton. Fouls this one back. Sullivan, one of those players for Kentucky that's in a full-time role and has really not really surprised this coaching staff because they expected her to step in with excellence and be the player that she has been this year.
And Coach Lawson talked about how much she has learned and how her production has continued to climb. And in her eyes, Sullivan is still not even at her full potential yet of where she can be.
One-two, got her with the rise ball. Kentucky able to strike though, a two-out rally, and they're on the board. 3-1 Razorbacks. Success for both of these coaches and these programs. But even as things continue to get tougher, because things don't get easier in this league, especially this year when you add in the likes of Texas and Oklahoma. Reagan Johnson aboard here to start the second.
And Reagan Johnson doing what she does best, just pounding the 5-6 hole to lead things off. She is the table setter of this offense, and that is a perfectly placed power slap through the 5-6 hole.
Kramer, a called strike. She's got a smile on her face right there. She knows her zone as good as anybody. She didn't agree, but that's okay.
And Coach Courtney Deifel talked about how there will be times where Reagan Kramer takes a pitch and they go back and look at it, and indeed it was a ball.
That pulled Borzilleri off the bag. Kramer safe at first.
And the speed that Reagan Kramer also has applies pressure on the defense to have to rush, even on an infield base hit ground ball.
Look at those numbers for the career on-base percentage. That number continues to go up with the season that Kramer's having. First pitch, Ellis lifts it up into deep right center. Johnson's going to tag and easily get to third on the play.
And with what we just saw from Reagan Kramer in program history, right below her was Hannah McEwen. I previously have related the two players to one another. Coach Courtney Deifel talked about how there are so many similarities between Reagan Kramer and Hannah McEwen with the discipline that they each display. Hannah displayed and Reagan currently does at the plate.
Home run in the first for Courtney Day, her 12th of the season. Pushed her RBI total to 45. Looking for more here and gets hit. Well, that's the second batter that Langdon has hit since coming on in relief last inning. Had only hit 5 all season long before today's outing.
And with the intensity of this Arkansas staff 1 through 9, you can't give them more than what they deserve by free walks, hit by pitches. They're the type of offense that they're going to make you pay whenever you allow those free base paths.
First pitch strike to Wyckoff. Kaylee's been in this situation more than any other Razorback with the bases loaded, and she's 4 of 10. Maybe more importantly, though, trying to make sure you at least get a run this inning. She's 9 of 10 in bringing the runner from third home with less than 2 outs. And does it again here. Four to 1 Razorbacks on Wyckoff's 25th RBI of the year.
And that's a big smile from Wyckoff over at first base. You'll drive him in whatever way that you can. She's over there talking about what she maybe could have done differently, but nothing because she drove in a run. In this swing by Wyckoff, she gets jammed on the inner part of the plate, but she just has enough strength to get inside of it and get it through the 5-6 hole to drive in Reagan Johnson from third.
Kentucky talking things over. Wildcats team in a good spot early on through 3 SEC series. Came in 5-4 on the weekend in league play. Had that tough sweep at LSU, but they were in, especially those first 2 games of that series, after a sweep over Missouri to open up league play.
And with the SEC, Josh, it's a known thing, but every game, every series, it can go many of different ways. It is such a tough conference.
McDowell takes first pitch strike. The base is still loaded and still just 1 out. McDowell 2 for 6 this year when the fans have the beer hats on. I feel like they always like it too whenever they get the result like Wyckoff just had. A base hit, everybody advances one, but they're still loaded, right? So you get to keep the hat on.
Absolutely.
It's much more fun that way than if it was a 2-run base hit, right?
Don't have to take the hats off. That just adds more excitement. What a snag by Hamilton behind the plate. Her athleticism just shows time and time again, but that is a huge stop by Hamilton with that snag.
Line to right center. 2 are going to come in to score. McDowell patient at the plate.
And for Ella McDowell, she drives in 2 runs, finding a way as well, driving it into the outfield. She too gets jammed, but has just enough strength to hit a solid line drive into the right center field gap to bring in 2 more runs.
RBIs 26 and 27 on the year for Ella McDowell. And the Hogs have plated 3 in each of the first 2 innings, and this second is not over. They're going to force Kentucky to go to their bullpen for the second time this game. We'll formally introduce you to the new arm when we come back. 6-1 Hogs. New pitcher for Kentucky is Julie Kelly. The freshman was the starter last night.
And what Arkansas can expect to see again from Julie Kelly is she's going to sit in the mid-60s. She's also one of the harder throwers on this staff. And essentially she works through all parts of the zone. She works north to south, east to west, and she will mix in a change of speeds.
Kelly's had a good year, 3.69 the ERA entering today. This is her 6th time out of the bullpen. 12th appearance overall. First pitch to Rio is lined towards center. Running on, making the catch is Sullivan. But it's a productive out. In to score is Wyckoff.
And for Rio, she absolutely blisters that ball to center field. And for Delaney Sullivan, being able to hang on to that ball as it was cutting away from her. And for Rio, just finding a way to drive in a run, that is a productive at-bat.
Carly Davison, who got hit by a pitch first time up. Off speed, just missed the outer edge. Hamilton trying to help her pitcher out. Popped up. Running on, Sullivan makes the catch, and the side retired. So Kelly, a good job out of the bullpen, retiring the first two batters she faces. This one popped up. Davison there to make the catch. Well, that's important to get that first out without allowing the runner to advance.
And not to go back to this, Josh, but Robin Heron, she's been that first game starter consistently for the Arkansas staff. She gets 16 strikeouts last weekend. We see yesterday in game one, she comes in to close. And that's one thing that Coach Deifel talked about is so far throughout the course of the season, the games technically have not shaken out to where she can utilize her pitchers in different positions. But last night had the ability to utilize Robin Heron to come in and secure the save.
In there for a strike to Madison Clark. One. Line and a diving stop by Rio.
And all smiles from Rio. She locks down the shortstop position, and that was an all-effort play. This ball is squared up off the bat of Clark, already shaded a little bit towards the 5-6 hole. She gives that all-out effort.
Two down, Peyton Plott steps in. Miller firing back down to second. It's Hutchins back in, standing up. You know, sometimes the hot shot liners are the ones that kind of draw the attention, but the ones like that where it's not particularly a fast-moving ball, are those just as hard, if not harder, to judge sometimes?
Oh, they are way harder because you have a little bit more reaction time than you do as a shot right at you. And for that ball, it's kind of knuckling and dying down as she's trying to track that ball down. But that play right there, you know, Arkansas is one of the top defenses in the country, and it's because of those plays, but it's also because they make the routine plays.
Yeah, they make the ones they're supposed to and then have some highlight reel plays to go along with it. The .984 fielding percentage, best in the nation. Peyton Plotz gets the free pass.
And one thing I can say, I did have the privilege of playing under Coach Matt Michael, and he's the mastermind behind this Arkansas defense. So one day at practice, he stopped us and he said, okay, the best defenses know how to do one thing well. They know how to play a high level of catch. If we can play a high level of catch, that's what's going to help us to have success on defense.
Razorbacks had first base open there, and with two outs, they like the matchup maybe a little bit better here. Plotz hitting .380. So just putting her on the old intentional, although unintentional, because you still throw the pitches, walk. Now you've got a chance to get the force at any bag.
And for Plott, she was already named SEC Player of the Week previously in this season after her monstrous weekend against Mizzou.
1-2. Tara Hindigas. Sydney Langdon came on in the first, and Kelly came on for her last inning with 1 out. And you got to give credit to this young pitcher. You know, last night Arkansas got her out of the game in the first inning, and so she sees 2 of her teammates, you know, not have their best outings, and they turn to her, and she comes in calm as can be. That ball was problematic, looking up into the sun for Clark, but still able to make the play. But impressed by the nerves and the mental toughness of Kelly.
Absolutely, and you know, I think it holds tribute. There's so much truth in what Coach Lawson has talked about, that she not only has work to instill in her pitching staff, but the team as a whole, is she keeps ingraining in them that the way that you play the game is a future indicator of our future success as a program. And so it's stepping up in the moments when your name is called, it's time to go in and get the job done. And I love that she said that, because one thing that I personally like to quote time and time again is not just that, but also the way that you play the game says a lot about you. And so as, you know, you progress through your career, you know, individually, but also being a part of the program, it is a future indicator of the success that the program's going to have.
Johnson hops one to the right side. Clark makes the play, and there's 2 down.
And this really is a statement by Kelly coming in, getting 2 quick outs when she came in relief, and then to start the bottom of the 3rd inning, 2 quick outs issued by fly out and ground out.
Just caught the inner edge for a strike. Kramer has been aboard both times.
And that ball had a ton of break. It started at Reagan Kramer's front hip, and just as the last minute cut across, sweeping into the middle part of the plate. It's a really, really great pitch.
Kramer flies one into left. Allie Blum is there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Julie Kelly in Kentucky. We're back for the 4th after that shortstop back in the 2nd. For Cassie Reisner.
And that's why they always say finish out the play. That right there shows finishing out the play and backing each other up.
Yeah, that's the part that young softballers need to pay attention to, right? It's not the athletic dive to make the catch. It's that she was close by to be in position to even do that.
And I'll tell you, I got on Facebook last night after the game was over, and I actually saw quite a few moms that I follow of young softball players that I have once coached talking about this is what it looks like to finish out a play.
Heron with the strikeout. That's her 4th. She gets marked to chase the rise ball. Yeah, plenty of young softballers in attendance.
And Robin Heron's rise ball today, not only is it rising vertically through the zone, but it is cutting up and in to these right-handed hitters.
Holly Mitchell had a base hit first time up. It was part of that 2-out rally for Kentucky. Mitchell had a base hit. Carissa Hamilton followed with a 2-out single to drive in the first run for the Wildcats. It's a bunt down, looking for the element of surprise, but foul.
And not a bad decision right there to get something started. Again, Robin Heron being a left-handed pitcher, if you can get a bunt down to that right side part of the field to make her have to come and get it, it's going to buy you some time down the first baseline.
This lined into left center. Johnson able to cut it off in the gap and keep it at just a single.
And for Mitchell, that ball is squared up, right back up the middle. But one thing that Reagan Johnson does is not only does she have speed around the base path, but it's her speed in the outfield. Just such a solid piece of hitting by Mitchell as this ball is down and out on the lower part of the plate. One thing that I just love to see in her swing is how she got to contact, but how she kept her chin and eyes down on it all the way through her extension through the ball.
That's extra bases more times than not, but not with Reagan Johnson patrolling things out there.
And that's one thing, it's not just the base around the base path, it's the ability that she has in the outfield to cut off balls in the gap. And it makes a difference. It turns a double into a single.
Hamilton has continued to progress. Had a 200 OBP in 2023. It rose to 319 last year and 400 now this year. I think that goes hand in hand with the consistency you were talking about with the Kentucky coaching staff and the culture that they have that goes along with it and allows players to grow and develop and reach their potential. Heron had her off balance with the off speed. No need to complete that throw down to first with the base occupied. And 2 away.
And you know, Josh, to go back to your point, that's one thing that is very beautiful about this Kentucky staff this year is they have a mixture of girls on the team who have mainly played as a pinch runner or a defensive replacement, and now they're getting to be an everyday starter. There's also some freshmen who are within the lineup and a couple of transfers. And it just goes to the culture that Coach Lawson has, what she's established at Kentucky, that has, you know, given them the ability that maybe you're not starting out your freshman, maybe not even your sophomore year, but by the time you hit that junior year and you really hit your stride and have grown, that's the opportunity to step in and do something for the program.
On the age of the transfer portal, seeing that they're able to continue to foster the growth of the players and keep them there, players want to stay, really impressive. That ball well hit, but Johnson able.
And for Courtney Day, I mean, how special to step away from the game. She goes and coaches, which that teaches you a lot right there in itself, and then comes back and has the season that she's had so far.
Able to retire her here. Good rebound there by Julie Kelly after giving up the homer. It's only the 4th home run that Kelly had given up all year.
And for Kelly, she doesn't issue a lot of home runs because she does a very good job at keeping the ball low in the zone. And that pitch to Bree Ellis, it was just more elevated up in the zone in Ellis's wheelhouse, which is going to be that upper to inside part of the plate.
Wyckoff yanks one foul. Kaylee Wyckoff with that RBI base hit back in the 2nd inning. Extends her hit streak to 11 games now and has reached safely in 17 straight. Look at the numbers. That homer by Ellis, that's the one blemish so far against Kelly, who's been pretty solid in this relief outing after the Hogs got to her early on in the game last night.
And it's all about how quickly can you make an adjustment. So from the game yesterday, Kelly, and the way that the Arkansas offense swung the bat a little bit off of her, she was able to take that information, get back out there today, and make those adjustments to be more effective.
Gets Wyckoff here.
And for Kelly, it's that off-speed pitch that gets Wyckoff striking out swinging. She's doing a very good job of keeping this Arkansas offense off balance with her mixes of speed.
McDowell taking there. 2 RBI hit and a walk so far from McDowell, who's seen a lot of pitches. Last batter, though, that has not faced Kelly, at least in this outing.
And to give this Kentucky pitching staff praise, Coach Deifel talked about they have a lot of strong suits, and one thing that Coach Lawson does a great job of with this staff is honing in on their strengths, and those strengths are working their curveballs at different angles, not just cutting straight across the plate, and then the ability that they have to be so disciplined with the way that they utilize their off-speed pitch. And could not have been better said, because we're seeing that right now from Julie Kelly. Had to hit it over the snow cone shack.
Top of the order here for the Wildcats. Allie Hutchins to try to start things off in what's been the best offensive inning for Kentucky throughout the season. They've scored 45 runs in the 5th. Last night was proof of it. All 3 of their runs in the 5th inning a night ago. Third time through against Heron.
And sometimes it takes until the 5th inning to really get something going offensively as you gain more information on how the pitcher's attacking you. You also understand how you need to make the adjustments.
There you go, right on cue. Hutchins with her second hit.
And this is exactly what you want in this situation, to get the leadoff hitter on. And for Hutchins, just such a solid piece of hitting as the ball's on the inner part of the plate. She gets her hands short and quick to it and is long through extension to drive it out to Reagan Kramer for a base hit single.
Hutchins is 4 for 6 now in the series. That's why she's at the top. Allie Blum is due. They've got her out on pop-ups to second base on the first pitch of each of her first 2 at-bats. Nearly hit for the cycle last night. Just needed that pesky triple.
Had to get it in one of the corners. And she stepped up big last night, and she's a player that Coach Lawson could not talk more highly of. As a freshman, says that she has a very bright future as a Wildcat and does such great things in the box.
There she is. Winds one into left. Couple of hits here to start the 5th. And here comes Courtney Deifel. Razorbacks are going to make a change in the circle. Robin Heron, who got the save last night and has pitched well all the way into the 5th here today. But she'll hand the ball off. Reese Berline is going to come on for the Razorbacks. We'll give her time to warm up. And back in a moment from Boulder Park.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our hearts. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we care about. At Thrivent, we help you plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more.
I was gonna put this guy to sleep, but then I got high. Ooh, I just wanted to walk the dog, but then I got high. I was gonna go to the club, I'm not gonna lie. Why, man? Yeah, because I got high.
Well, there's the line for Robin Heron. Scatters 7 hits across 4 innings. Right now is responsible for 1 run, but the 2 on base are hers as well. 5 strikeouts. Pretty good stuff from Heron overall, as usual. And hands the ball off to the junior right-hander, Reese Burline.
And what the Wildcats can expect from Reese Burline, she's going to work all 4 quadrants of the zone. Her strong suit is mixing speeds at different levels through the strike zone.
Look out, that one gets away from Miller, and both runners advance. Takes away the force play. Up and away, ball 2 to Madison Clark. Clark 0 for 2 today. Retired last time on a line drive diving catch made by Italia Rio. Foul back, 2-2. Got her swinging. Burline comes right back after being behind 2-0.
And for Burline, this is a big time pitch. This drop ball breaking hard and down at the last minute to get a strikeout with runners on second and third. And I'm going to say, Josh, out of all of the pitches in her arsenal, that is one of her better pitches. The drop ball has such hard down bite movement on that pitch.
This ball high and deep to left center, backing up to the track. Kramer makes run.
And for Peyton Plotz, that is a big-time pop fly that just continued to carry to the left field wall. And for Reagan Kramer, she did such a great job of finding the wall and securing that. But the Wildcats finding a way to drive in another run. I thought, Josh, with the way that the wind's blowing, that was going to carry out.
Yeah, it's been out there briskly to left field all day long. '34th RBI of the year for Plotz. Yanked foul.
Almost a snag down there in the coach's box. And what a stop by Kennedy Miller behind the plate. One thing that she does so well is blocking the ball and keeping the ball in front of her. And going into this weekend to play, Kennedy Miller only 1 error committed behind the plate in her career here at Arkansas so far. Retiring her number 8 jersey, which makes her the first female student athlete in Mississippi State history to receive this honor. Just what a courageous fight that she had, and to be able to carry on her legacy and also to raise awareness for ovarian cancer.
Kelly, the pitch runs away. 2-0 to Italia Rio. A hit and a sac fly for Rio today. Hard hit to the right side. No problems, though, making the play. Emery Donaldson, who has checked in at second base.
And Kelly is doing such a great job of keeping the ball low in the zone, issuing a lot of ground ball outs. And for the Kentucky Wildcats on defense, they're backing her up, making the routine plays.
Madison Clark moved from second to third this inning. Hallie Mitchell, who was the DP, is the new left fielder.
And that's one thing about this Kentucky Wildcat team is the versatility that they have. The athletes on their team, they're able to play numerous positions, both infield and outfield, and that just allows Coach Lawson more flexibility with moving her players around in certain situations.
Hammered fouled out into the corner. Well, Carly Davison, she had a nice weekend against Tennessee, especially the first two games of that series. Had a big sac fly in the 8th inning of game 1, and Coach Deifel talked about, she said she had a look in her eye that she knew she was going to get the job done in that situation, but it's the same look that they've seen from her for a long time now as this ball is sent deep.
Miles around, the excitement and adrenaline is high in the Arkansas dugout. This swing by Davidson, no wind necessary. She gets every piece of this pitch. It's an up and in pitch. She gets her barrel out in front of it, almost driving it out of Bogle Park. And he's pretty excited to get him a home run ball, something he's probably been out there waiting for, sitting in the right spot.
So second homer of the season. Her first came in game 2 at Tennessee last Sunday.
And for Kelly, she has done such a great job of keeping the ball low in the zone. But that is the same pitch thrown to Bree Ellis as well for the home run that she hit.
For the Razorbacks, Carly Ratcliffe will pinch hit. One for 5 on the year, has a double, 2 RBI. Has reached safely 4 of 8 times at the plate. Keeping it outside and away from her on that 1-2 pitch.
And coming in as a pitch hitter for Ratcliffe, that's a good take on that 1-2 purpose pitch that Kelly just threw.
Pinch hitting so difficult, and still able to identify that pitch and lay off the one out of the zone. Count is full now. Ground ball back through. How about that? Impressive piece of hitting from the senior.
And pitch hitting being an art in itself, Ratcliffe finds a way to get the job done. It's a low inside drop ball that she just drives right back up the middle. And what a solid at bat. You know, when you're in the dugout, that's why it's important to be focused the entire time and understanding what the pitcher is throwing, the information that you're gaining, so when your name is called, you're able to step up and get your job done.
Casey Wood will pinch run at first. Back back to the top of the lineup. First pitch, lined right to second, throw back to first. Won't be in time. Wood was paying attention. A good job to cover the ground quickly by Anna Mock.
And for Mock, that ball is hit so hard off of Reagan Johnson's bat. She does a great job securing it and almost gets Casey Wood over at first base. Really heads up defense.
Two away here in the bottom of the fifth. Look out, that one gets away. Down to second goes Wood.
Well, in this situation right here with 2 outs, anything put in play, you're going to be gunning home.
1 run would end the ball game, put the run rule in effect. Called strike, 2-1. Kramer 1 for 2 with a walk today, has scored a couple of times. And for strike 2. Drama builds a little bit. This crowd, they're very educated fans. They know the score. They know a base hit right here could end the ball game. Throwing quiet, waiting on the delivery. Payoff pitch is lined into right field. Wood is waved.
This Arkansas offense, it was the long ball that got the job done today. A 2-run homer by Courtney Day, a Bree Ellis solo